Alright guys, so what you're going to be watching today is me doing a critique and a paint over of a submission by Kevin Dang. You'll see his work linked below in the descriptions. Okay, so he's working on his character called Scarlet. So it's a kind of sexy cat girl kind of thing. She's supposed to be, you know, seductive, but also strong and confident, that kind of thing. So he gave me two images, one over here, and what he was saying was, like, please, I don't know what to do with the hands. I don't know how I get the hands to work. What do I do? And then the second one was this more standard pose. You know, how do I make her look badass? You know, confident, that kind of thing. Is the posture working? So yeah, so first we'll get into, I did a paint over of this first one and recorded it, so I've sped up the footage and I'll just chat about it. Okay, so first thing I do is I put a white layer on top of everything and reduce the opacity. It's almost like tracing paper. And then I just do a simple construction. I break everything down just to cubes and cylinders. I find that really helpful just to go back to the fundamentals, to make sure everything is drawn correctly like this, everything's in perspective, make sure everything in perspective, all that kind of stuff. Right, now first thing I started trying to draw the hands straight in, but I couldn't quite get it how I wanted, so I use another method. Instead of just drawing, I fill in like the space that I want it to occupy in just solid black, or it could be any color, but like instead of drawing out, you know, okay, every single, you know, finger and all my lines, whatever, sometimes like in this case, I just fill in the solid masses and the silhouette. I want my hand to make this kind of shape. I want, you know, the fingers to be in this sort of position, right? So I did that, and I made it lighter, made it pink, and now I go on top, I make a layer on top, and now I do my drawing. So some people would do the drawing, like this drawing construction first, and then fill it in. I usually do that, but sometimes I think it helps just to fill it in with solid color, and now we can, just so you can, then you draw on top of your base, right? So over here, I'm just trying to figure out some of that shoulder to sternomastoid to collarbone anatomy, comparing it to the original image, and just showing and just setting up my document so Kevin can see, like, okay, my stages, you know, like this is my rough block out, and then this is what I drew on top of, and yeah. Now we're gonna get into the mood. So still on the original image, he wanted to go for kind of like sexy, seductive kind of thing. So I said, okay, you got this cool pose, but you know, maybe you don't have to change the pose so much. Maybe what could help is just the lighting you choose. So I just went into a new layer with a purple and set to multiply, and I start filling in all these shadows. As you can see here, I'm doing some bounce light. Yeah, putting some details. So yeah, just having the shadow over her eyes, kind of like, you know, highlighting her mouth, that kind of thing. Yeah, so this is the final. As we can see, I'll bring in the original. So the original had purple eyes, and so I guess how I thought about the eyes, I changed the color to, you know, this teal turquoise kind of color, because what's going on here is you know, I would say that the overall color scheme of this character is, you know, red, right? Reddish pinks, right? So I just think about, like, how I usually think about my colors is, okay, I'll usually make my character's eyes the complementary color to the overall color scheme. So like over here we had the overall color scheme is red, but you know, it's more pinky, right? So opposite of red is green. So I will make, and just to fit in with the color scheme, it's not going to be pure green, it's going to be more teal, more turquoise. And as you can see that, like, whereas the eyes didn't really stick out that much here, I hope you'll find that they stick out at you more. And it's just that simple little color theory hack, you know, whatever you just complementary color, bang it in, and it should be good. And then again for the color, the shading, yeah, I mean the pose was like seductive and all this kind of stuff, but I thought, okay, let's add some sort of mystery to it. We cloak her a bit in darkness and highlight her mouth with the lighting, and yeah, that was just how I would do it. Cool. Now on to the second pose, right? I had a look at this, and Kevin said, "Oh, I wanna make her sort of more confident, make her look powerful." So I recommended, well, first things first, put in that second arm. You know, it's kind of getting lost. Like, where'd it go? It disappeared. And maybe you can change the position of her head. The tilt of her head. So if we go over here, I just grabbed some images of women looking down on us. I think, you know, when from our point of view, we're below her, she's above us, she's looking down on us. In terms of power dynamic, these women are definitely in a position of power. So I just recommended, you know, just tilt the head, that kind of thing, and you know, that would give it a little bit more power. Of course, you know, I just put in. I didn't record myself painting it, but that's just the final drawing of me just putting in that extra arm, you know, holding her hips, kind of thing. And maybe if we change the head, it would give her more of a badass kind of look. Cool. So just to recap, looking back at I also flipped the original image. I just thought it looked a bit better that way. That was the original construction. So again, I just started off making this, just putting everything in cubes, going back. Sometimes like to sort of paint and design and think all at once, it's a bit much. So if I just simplified everything, so I had to just deal with the building blocks. And sometimes you'll find that there's problems in the construction. I just made sure everything was more in perspective, that kind of thing, with the rib cage, with how the upper torso connects to the pelvis, and that kind of deal. And then I think that's an okay kind of base. I think, now that I look at it, I think this, like, this arm maybe it could be a little bit longer. Kind of thing. Oh wait, it's not really important. The important thing is, like, this is how you would kind of fix your drawing, and yeah, that's how I would do it. And again, these are design choices that I would just personally make. That isn't to say that, like, you know, this drawing sucks or anything. It's a really good drawing. It's pretty cool. This is just the direction that I would personally go in. There's many different directions you could go in, but that's just how I would do it. Same thing with the lighting. That's my suggestion. For anybody out there, like, maybe you think it looks good, maybe you think it doesn't work, or you do it differently. That's totally cool. Yeah, there are no absolutes. This is just how I would do it. Okay, thank you for watching. See ya.